Hi, it's Dr. Kimarie on this gorgeous St. Patrick's Day. Hello. It's a beautiful Sunday. But I did want to talk more about overwhelm because a lot of people commented that they really enjoyed the message, and just really getting into what causes you overwhelm. For me, it is when I start to think, I get so in my head, and I get into the future on what I'm going to do about this, what I'm going to do about that, and then I start just going around and round and round and round in my head. So I'm not centered in the present moment. I'm going into the past, I'm going into the future, I'm focused on what I could do differently, what I could have done differently, that I'm not doing enough, I missed the 8 ball, I missed the bus on life, life is passing me by. These are all the things that can really get me feeling overwhelmed, and then the walls just start closing in. And then what do you do to get out? It's, we all go through periods of life where we're being called to grow. We're being called to go in a new direction, to redefine an area of our life. And that doesn't mean that we failed. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong. It just means that there's a new level. This is the journey of life. But many of us fall into that feeling of failure. We did something wrong. If people leave our lives, then we did something to cause that, versus maybe we've outgrown each other, we've gone in different directions, but that doesn't mean that we have to beat ourselves down. And when we beat ourselves down, it's like we splinter off parts of ourselves. We judge those parts of ourselves. We don't want people to see them. We feel shame. And then that overwhelm is really heavy. It's just like having a big blanket on you. So it's looking at that, and it's breathing through that, and it's, noticing how we treat ourselves, noticing what we say when we make the story of what happened. Because what happened is maybe we don't see that person anymore, or maybe that we're not working at that job, or whatever it is, right? And then we make a story about it. In that story about us, we must have done something, or we're never do enough, or whatever it is. And that is the part of us that walks around and starts to close off, starts to dim parts of ourselves, because we deem that part unlovable or unworthy, or whatever it is. And most of us say, well, I don't do that, I don't say that, but maybe not outwardly say those words, but the way the self-talk within yourself is really knocking down your confidence, knocking down the belief in yourself. So, and as we get older, we shift. There are different periods. We shift. So it's like as we start to look for other positions, our confidence level shifts as we're not as savvy about some things that the younger generations are. So maybe in our 30s, we were on top of the game, and now we're noticing that we're at a new level. So it's just something to look at. What causes you overwhelm? Whatever that is, look at it, love it, lean into it. Because I really feel like I said in the last video, resisting just causes it to persist, causes it to be in our face. Anything we're trying to stuff down doesn't stay that way. It's like the first opening, it has the chance to seep out. It's always at the least, the time you'd least like it to happen, right? It's like when you can't hold it down any further. So first thing to do, again, is lean in, and then is to break it down. For me, having structure is really, really important for me. So when I start to lose structure in my life, and it could be simple practices that I do every day, whether it's meditation, or go to the gym, doing some journaling, setting myself up, having a structure, whatever that looks like for you. If it's working out first, going on a hike, doing your journaling, having your coffee and meditate, whatever it is, something that you do. And then it's breaking it down. I love to break things down and see, okay, what is the first step? Because as you break down that process, and that just reminded me of over 25 years ago when I had a house that I bought with someone, and then that didn't work out. So I had this house that every area of the house had a place that needed to be repaired, and my family was in construction, and I knew some, but I was left with a big mess, and I had 2 children who were 5 and 8 years old, and it was a lot for me. And I remember sitting in the backyard just gasping, just hyperventilating, not knowing what to do or how to do it and get help I needed. I didn't have the money to pay for someone to come and do all these things. So I just sat in the backyard, and I had a legal sized notebook, and I started writing down every single thing. And just writing that list gave me, it was a lot, it was overwhelming, it was more than 1 page, it was a lot of things, but just writing the list gave me the feeling of being in the driver's seat again. And then I slowly learned how to do many of the things on the list myself through speaking with my family, getting a little bit of help, but a lot of learning and checking off that list. And the learning was exciting. You know, at first it was like, oh, you feel like the victim, you feel like you're left, and I have to do it all. You go through that period, and you just love that part of you because there's a piece of you that feels that way. But then the bigger piece, the empowered piece, learning how to do these things, that now I was able to buy this house, and it's, you know, it's a humble home. But this last year was a fixer-upper, and it was so beat up. It was such a beat up little home, and it needed so much love, and I did 85 to 90% of the work myself, and that was empowering. That is a great feeling. So, not saying that you have to do that, but writing that list, checking it off, learning what you need to learn, leaning into what you know, because you're being brought to it for a reason. Life does work for us. It's not work happening to you, it's happening for you to grow, for you to claim your power back, for you to get back in the driver's seat. But when I say get back into the driver's seat, it's never from your head. Okay, it's allowing yourself to be open, to be guided, to learn, and then listening to that guidance of the next right thing, that one thing that you need to do today, until you do the next thing, and you do that one thing, and then you get pulled to the next thing, and you get pulled to the next thing. I remember one time being overwhelmed, and my brother, and just really hyperventilating, and my brother saying, okay, you need to calm down. He said, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And it is just that. It's taking that one step and knowing and trusting that that is the way out. That's going to give you your confidence. It's going to give you your power back. Getting you back into the present moment. Otherwise, we're just on auto repeat. We're going from the past to the future to the past, and we'll just keep recreating, being in the hamster wheel and not even enjoying the present moment. When I was doing this yard, which I did the other day, I was very happy to be out here and planting new flowers and loving and just putting intentions into each flower. And, you know, I've had a lot on my mind too, but it is taking that moment to realize that this present moment is what we have. That's it. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what can happen as we pull out of the driveway. We have no idea. But to rob ourselves of the present moment by being on that hamster wheel of the past and the future and never in the present moment is definitely not enjoying life. So that is my message for today. I hope it helps you. I love you lots. Enjoy the day, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Bye-bye.